What up, guys? Today I want to talk about Geekdom 101's latest video about Goku versus Sun Wukong and who would win. And I want to talk about why that video, I have a bit of a problem with that video and some stuff in that video that I saw that I just think was incorrect or just wrong. Now, I'm not saying that this is a complete debunk on the entire video because the entire video as a whole wasn't really bad. And if I'm being honest, I don't know enough about Sun Wukong himself personally to say, like, if he's this powerful or that powerful, but there was something in particular that was said in that video that was explained about Sun Wukong's power in comparison to Goku that was putting, like, Sun Wukong above Goku, because they both agreed that, yeah, Sun Wukong could beat Goku. There's nothing he could really do against him for many reasons, but in one reason in particular that they explained towards the end of that video. Now, I'm not going to be going through all their points because, like I said, I don't know enough about Sun Wukong, so the guest that he brought up there, he had quite a bit of knowledge on Sun Wukong's feats, and I haven't really read Journeys to the West, so I can't really say much on that. And obviously, I know more about Goku. I do know completely about Goku, so I can give more context on his feats, but Geekdom already did the job there where he mentioned, Goku threatening the Dragon Ball universe all the way back in Battle of Gods, and ever since then, he's gotten just way stronger, like millions of times stronger than he was back then. So he's way past, just universal or even multiversal. I've seen some people say Goku's like low multiversal, which would put him below multiversal, which doesn't make sense because in battle wikis and stuff, it showcases to be multiversal. You have to destroy over 1,000 or create over 1,000 universes, which Goku's well above, 1,000 universes. It's kind of stupid to say he's low multiversal, but he already explained, his feats, so I'm not going to go on that either because there wasn't anything too wrong about that, though I will touch upon that a little bit, but there was one thing in particular that I did not agree with, and that's what I'm going to be going into in this video. But before I get into that, I do want to give a big shout out to a couple new subscribers, one by the name of J2 Sketchy and Shikomori, and also El Wookie Mexicano. So big thank you to all three of you guys for subscribing to this channel. It means a lot. Now, let's get into the topic at hand. Like I said, this isn't a debunk because a debunk would be going through every point that they made and be like, they're wrong, they're wrong, that, and then try to like criticize everything. I don't think everything in that video is wrong. There wasn't really much to talk about because they did go through more of like Sun Wukong's feats because more people know about Goku and what he's able to do and what he's accomplished, whereas especially on Geekdom's channel, which he's a big Dragon Ball YouTube channel, they would know more about Goku and what he's capable of. But Sun Wukong and Journey to the West hasn't been talked about that much. It has been a little bit more recently nowadays, especially with the game coming out. So there's a lot more talk about it. But from what people know of him, that talk about him is that he's really powerful. He has multiple levels of immortality. He can create thousands of clones. He can get pretty much strong as he wants or whatever some people say. He's done some really insane feats, and like I said, I haven't checked it out to know exactly what happened in the full context of each feat and how how much it stacks up to what is being stated that he's capable of. So I'm not going to disagree with the guy's video because, like I said, the guy that Geekdom brought up on there, he clearly knew about Journey to the West and read it, so he knows more than me, so I'm not going to say that. But the one thing that he did say that I disagreed with, that he said was one of his feats, and it wasn't the feat itself that I disagree with, but just how the fact that he thought that this feat would give him the win over Goku. So Geekdom was trying to go through it in that video, and if you guys want to check out the video, I will put the video's link in the description down below so you guys can go check it out yourself. But I just want to talk about this part because they were talking about how can Goku beat Sun Wukong. He's immortal, so how is he supposed to beat him? And then Geekdom suggested, like, well, let's take away, Sun Wukong's immortality. Could he still beat Goku then? And the guy said, yeah, because at towards the end of the story, the only person that could beat, the Monkey King was Buddha, who was considered to be basically God in the story. So he beat all the other gods. He surpassed them. He surpassed every other being except for Buddha, who beat him and he didn't surpass. But after he lost Buddha, he became Buddha himself also. So he reached Buddha status and reached Nirvana and all this other stuff and ascended basically to a higher plane of existence, even though he was already pretty powerful. And because of this, he was able to transcend the universe itself and the universal laws. So because Buddha is like, he's supposed to be like God, like I said. So that means that he basically governs over the entire universe and can create or destroy it. So since Sun Wukong in the end of the story basically pretty much reached up to Buddha status, that means he reached to pure godlyhood, like becoming God itself, and then surpassing the universe. So he's saying that he's beyond the universe. So Geekdom, gave his kind of argument to it, which I agreed with, which he said, yeah, but in Battle of Gods, Goku was able to threaten the Dragon Ball universe, which is like a big, multiple dimensions on top of it. He was able to do that all the way back then. He's gotten like millions of times stronger throughout the story. So we have one guy who's like multiversal, or low complex multiversal, or just like multiversal, and then the other guy's just universal. So wouldn't that make Goku above him? And the guy said that would make sense, but the thing that about Sun Wukong that puts him above Goku is, yes, Goku can destroy a multiverse, which is more than just a single universe, but Sun Wukong can not only just destroy that universe, but he's not he doesn't follow any of the laws of karma or anything like that. So rebirth, death, I guess like fundamental laws itself, so he can do pretty much whatever, which Geekdom said, isn't that pretty much just like reality warping? And he said, yeah. So he basically has universal level reality warping, meaning that he can do whatever the hell he wants. None of those concepts have any effects on him, and he doesn't have any limitations with that. So he's saying, yes, Goku is powerful enough to destroy multiple universes by a high number, but he's still confined to the universal laws. Whereas Sun Wukong is beyond that universal law, and he has a reality warping, so he's above Goku. And I don't agree with him on that. I think a lot of people over exaggerate reality warping, and I know why they do. I mean, obviously it's very powerful, but just like any other form of power or technique, there's limitations to it, right? Some characters have limitations to how much their mind can warp reality, and others don't have that. And I'm not saying that's what Sun Wukong has. I'm just saying that that's that's just the point that I'm making, because there's arguments to make about that, because reality warping is still an ability, and all abilities have some levels of power. That doesn't mean just because you can warp reality, you can warp it to any extent. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he's stating that he doesn't follow the laws of that universe, and he can warp reality to that universal level, which would mean that his reality warping still comes to his universal level. If you had above that, he could create other universes or an entire multiverse. And that's the big problem I have with that, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you have reality warping. And yes, reality warping is impressive and is powerful, but like I said, there's levels to it. His is on a universal level. That's not going to affect or harm somebody who is on a multiversal level or a low complex multiversal level, because the higher dimensionality there is, there's a higher level of infinity or higher levels of power. So it doesn't just affect them just because you can do that. That doesn't make any sense. And just because you can warp reality doesn't mean you're going to be above everybody or every other thing. Because remember, Beyonder had that, but he was beneath Celestials. He was below the Celestials because the other being told him, like, yeah, they implemented it in your mind, and you're below them because they're levels of infinity higher than you. So Goku would be levels of infinity higher than Sun Wukong. And I'm not here to say that Goku would beat Sun Wukong, but I'm just saying, using that argument itself, that Sun Wukong has the ability to, not follow the laws of the universe, and he can reality warp to a universal level, does not give him the win over Goku, just because Goku would be, still following some fundamental laws of the universe. So, like I said, reality warping usually gives people big advantages, but people act like it's one of those abilities where if you have it, that person automatically wins. It's not an automatic win con. It depends on to the extent. If it's universal, that means his reality warping is only universal level. He hasn't shown or been stated to have multiversal level reality warping, which would be needed to beat Goku for one particular reason, which we've talked about quite a bit on this channel, but I'll talk about it again. But like I said, warping reality, he can only do it on a universal level. So it's not like he can warp all of existence, depending on the story. Because some stories, when they say all of existence, it just means one universe, and others it means a multiverse. So one with one universe, the cosmology is going to be far lower than that one with multiple universes. So it's just the story and the journey to the west. The cosmology is just a single universe. So even if he doesn't follow that, his cosmology is very small. It's at most he's infinite, like 3D or 4D, which is impressive, but is still just on the ranges of universal. And like I said, the problem with that is if you fight against a being that's on a higher dimensional plane or a higher levels of power, just because you have reality warping, even to a universal level, is not going to work or help against somebody who is multiversal. You know what I mean? So I think that's where the guy in Geekdom I disagreed with, because they're like, yep, that means he automatically wins there. I just disagree with that, because it's like, yeah, he doesn't have to follow his laws, but that doesn't mean anything, because that just means that his reality warping, he's not affected by other things, he can affect it, but still, like, okay, so Goku cannot affect the world through that. That's just not an ability he has. All that means is that Sun Wukong is more versatile and has an impressive ability that Goku doesn't have, but Goku could still obliterate him. Reality warping is not going to stop you from getting attacked by a person who's more powerful than you, and especially when it comes to Dragon Ball, which, like I said, we've explained this quite a bit in Dragon Ball, where these techniques, no matter how powerful they are or how deadly they might be, like even like, let's say something like instant death touch or something like that, will not work on Dragon Ball characters if the character that's using it is not either on the level of power of them, or above their level of power, or just depending on how much below their power. But comparing, since Sun Wukong is only universal level, his power of reality warping is only universal level, whereas Goku's power is around high multiversal to low complex multiversal, which would upscale him way above Sun Wukong. And by Dragon Ball logic, Sun Wukong's abilities would not either have no effect on Goku or have a limited effect on Goku. And some people might say, well, he can warp the reality around him. Yeah, but he can just basically make things that are on a universal levels of destruction or, danger. Goku could handle it. He could basically wipe out that universe if he wants to, or hit him with a power that can wipe out the universe. So, yeah, reality warping technically would normally work against other characters, but Dragon Ball high techniques like that don't work unless if you're around that range of power, which, like I said, he would only be universal, so he would be leagues below him, which would not affect Goku. We've seen this with his time skipping ability, and when they explained it a little bit later by Vados, she said that he basically slips into like a dimension which is a parallel universe. It just parallels the whole universe, so it's not even a pocket dimension, it's parallel of the entire universe, and it's a frozen timed area where he slips into, and then basically everything is frozen, and then he does his moves and slips in there, and he's basically like skipping forward in time. There's a lot of science to it, it's a lot of tricky stuff, but just the gist of it, he can create a parallel world to our universe, and he can go in the dimension to basically control time however he wants. He can bring people in there, he can freeze them in there, he can attack them in there, but even with that level of control of time manipulation, Goku was still able to surpass it when he was gaining more power. It was having less of an effect on him, and he would had to get stronger and be close to Goku's power and match him and surpass him just for his technique to work on him, and still Goku's able to break out of the time binding power, because his technique, even though it's impressive, his power was not enough for him to be able to just affect Goku. So yes, reality warping is even more impressive than time stuff, but still, Hit had his one on a universal scale, and it wasn't affecting Goku, and Goku was able to actually breach into that universal dimension and fire a blast, shattering the parallel time dimension, not only shattering it and destroying it, but also taking Hit out of it. So if Sun Wukong was to use reality warping on Goku, it would not affect him, since he would be above in terms of power and in generality, because he would be a higher dimensional being compared to him in power when it comes to that feat. So if Sun Wukong tried to use reality warping, it would not affect Goku. He could not do anything to Goku directly. He can change the environment around him, but Goku could handle that too, because whatever he does to the environment, he can attack it and just destroy it. So he could literally directly attack Sun Wukong and beat him. And like I said, I'm not saying he could beat him, because that's just through that argument he could beat him, but Sun Wukong clearly does have other things, like him being immortal. Goku cannot beat him if he's immortal. Now in the manga, Goku is able to use the Hakai technique. In the anime, he never did it. That doesn't mean he can't do it, we just never see him do it. Maybe if the show ever comes back, maybe in 10 years or whatever, we might see Goku do it in the anime and not just in the manga. But in the manga, even when he did it, was an incomplete version, because he wasn't able to completely obliterate, Merge Zamasu. So, would Goku be able to do it against, Sun Wukong? Yeah, but it would only be partial. It would only disintegrate him partially, which he would obviously regenerate from, since he's immortal, right? So, see, I'm not saying that Goku would beat him, I'm just saying that that argument that he was making was not a really great argument. But also Goku could use, the Mafuba technique to trap him. So who knows? He could just beat him that way without having to, erase him from existence. But also the immortality thing, him being multiple levels of immortality, because throughout the entire story he was trying to get higher levels of immortality placed on him, which makes no sense. I don't know why you need to multi-layer immortality, but people also mention that. I just want to say this about that. Yes, being immortal is definitely a big advantage and can help people to win over others, but the saying that he has multiple levels of immortality, acting like that makes it any better. It doesn't. I don't know why people keep on arguing it. I don't know why they even wrote that in the story. It doesn't make any sense. Once when you become immortal, you're unkillable. So being multiple times unkillable is unnecessary, unless if he was just really, really paranoid that no, maybe it might not work. I need to do it again. But once when you're already immortal, stacking up immortality doesn't help. It's not a thing you can stack up like power or higher levels of dimensionality or levels of infinity. Once when you're immortal, you're unkillable. The only things you can do is pretty much trap somebody, like seal them, which isn't killing them, or wipe them out of existence, which, like I said, Goku doesn't have the proper technique of that anyway, but he can pretty much just seal them away with Mafuba, and the anime version has never even used it, which he's the more powerful version anyway, so that doesn't really matter at that point. There's also a few other things I wanted to talk about this debate that they had in the in the debate itself, but also like another win con that Sun Wukong can have is he can create literally countless clones of himself that are as powerful as him. So even if by himself he's only universal, if he creates multiple clones, multiple of them, yes, each individual one is going to be universal, but stacking all of them together, working together against Goku, he's going to be getting attacked. It's basically going to be a debate at that point of countless universal level beings versus one high multiversal level being. Who would win in the fight? So that, I think Sun Wukong, even if he can't beat him by himself, if he gets all those other ones, he can overwhelm Goku over time and beat him in that way. So I'm not saying that Goku beats him. I'm just saying that argument was kind of a little ridiculous. Some people in the comment section were also just saying Goku would completely lose. Sun Wukong is the strongest person in all fiction. That does not make him the strongest person in all fiction. I mean, there's a lot of characters that have that ability and power and above that, and Goku definitely has more power than him, but he has more versatility and more abilities that give him the edge. So once again, I'm not saying Goku would beat him. I'm just saying that trying to act like Goku has no chance is ridiculous, and acting like Sun Wukong is that powerful is also ridiculous. And somebody made a dumb argument in the comment section, and this is the final point I want to get onto. But he said that, well, technically, even if Goku tried to use Hakai, he wouldn't be able to wipe him out of existence. He can't use existence erasure against him because in the story he found a way to prevent even that. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And he wrote in the description that there was a story where there was this book where it catalogs the death of every person in existence. So basically, it's like death's book, journeying a person's life and death and when they are going to die. So Sun Wukong went to the book and basically wrote his name out of the book. So he's not in the book of death anymore, giving him another level of immortality, which is pointless. Like I said, once when you're already immortal, you can't really beat them. But he wrote his name out of it. Thus, his argument was that means existence erasure doesn't work on him. But that doesn't make any sense. That book is the book of death. That basically means his time when he dies. If he's already immortal, obviously he's not going to die. And you writing him, taking his name out, just means that he would be immortal. But that does not prevent him from being wiped out from existence. That's not existence erasure. Existence erasure does not kill you. So technically you would not be on the book of death. It wipes you out of existence as it's stated. So you would not be throughout any form of time or space. You would be gone. You won't die. Because dying, you would still have like a soul somewhere else in another dimension or something like that. But this, it wipes out the physical, the spiritual, the mental, throughout all of time and all of space, throughout all of history. That's how existence erasure works. You can obviously bring some people back from total existence erasure if you have the ability to, because there's always counterbalances to stuff. So creation, the ability of creation, can counteract the ability of existence erasure. So you can do it that way, but saying that he's above existence erasure because he took his name out of the book of death, which is not the same thing, that's a completely different concept. I don't think people understand these terms and terminology, and that's why it's kind of hard to take some people's arguments seriously in debates when they say this character does this or that. It's like you don't even understand what the hell that means. That's not the same thing. You're just getting this completely wrong, and it just sounds nonsensical. But like I said, I might check out, the Journey to the West story at some point in the future and do a video on how actually strong Sun Wukong is. So I'm not saying that, how powerful he is in general, but just based off the feats that was given in that video that I saw, that I'm just going off of, I think that argument kind of falls flat on its face, and it isn't a really good argument. And saying Sun Wukong is the most powerful being in all of existence because he's able to do this, there's a lot of beings that can do that and more. That isn't just, that doesn't make him the most powerful. He is definitely powerful, but like I said, not the most powerful just because of that. So yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. I do want to say this towards the end before I sign out. I want to tell you guys something. I've been thinking a little bit. I've been doing a lot of these videos talking about how powerful certain characters are and going through, their stories and their backstories, especially comic book characters. But I do want to point and talk about certain stories that are, not about an entire specific character, but just a story event. So I will be creating a new series on this channel. I don't know what to call it. I'm going to be thinking about what to call it, but I'm going to be creating a new series on this channel where I'm going to be going through different major story events throughout comics like Marvel and DC, where some crazy event happened that was changing it, very story changing or altering, or high level power scaling. And I'm going to go into it and talk about the power scaling in those videos. And I already got one in mind. I'm going to be talking about the story event where Superman beat the World Forger, because that is my most contested video. The video where I talk about Superman's power, where they mentioned that's my most contested argument that I've had on my channel ever, and people disagreed with me a lot. And I felt like, you know what, I might as well just check out the entire story event that transpired prior to it. So I will be going throughout that entire story event where the World Forger came into the DC universe and was against the Justice League, and got punched by Superman. So I'm going to start from the beginning all the way to the point where Superman beat him, because that was pretty much the end of that story event. So I will be getting into the entire story event of the Justice League versus the World Forger story, and it will take some time, but I'll definitely be dropping it out soon. I'm gonna try to think of what to name it, because I really don't know, but I'm gonna go through multiple story events throughout Marvel and DC, because I know a lot of you guys are like, a lot of times when I make videos, people say, you don't know this about Marvel or DC, this and that, and you guys keep on saying I'm wrong. So I'm gonna be doing more videos where I just read comic book stories, more major ones. And if you guys have any suggestions, give me some. And I'm going to just, make entire videos about it, just showcasing my arguments and stuff, because we usually get a lot of points from these story events. But I just want to get that out there, because my next video is going to be that. And I really want you guys to tune in, because I've had a lot of disagreements with the whole World Forger versus Superman thing. And if Superman is above 6-dimensional, or could he handle Mixius Pitalik? And a lot of you guys disagree with me and said you don't know what you're talking about. So I will be dropping out that video series. For the guys that disagreed with me, you guys can check it out and see what my opinion is with my full context of the story, because the only context I really had was YouTube videos I watched of other comic book creators going throughout the story, but I haven't seen the whole story itself. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.